Hi, I'm Demi, founder and CEO of You're the Book Press and editor-in-chief of Self Pub magazine. I'm psyched to be here in the studio today with author Bill Peschel. Tell us a little bit about your books.
All right. Well, after I had lost my job with the newspaper, what I ended up doing was start my own press. With the ability to be able to self-publish, I found that it was easy to put out the books that I wanted to, that really interested me. And since I started with an interest in mystery books by Dorothy Sayers and Agatha Christie, and on my website I actually annotated the books of Dorothy Sayers. I described what the people were, what the plots were, and I ended up, when it was time to do the first book, Whose Body, her book is in the public domain in the United States and most of the world. And I decided, let me try putting it out as a book. And I went through the process and did that. And the result is the complete annotated Whose Body, because I was able to explain about the maps, the personalities, the story behind the story.
That's fantastic.
And that started Peschel Press. And because I have a long history in journalism as a copy editor and a designer and a page designer, I was able to use the common tools that are available like Photoshop and Word and PDF makers and walk through the entire process myself.
That's cool. What came after Dorothy?
Well, because I was on a mystery roll, I found that Agatha Christie's first two books, the complete annotated Mysterious Affair at Styles, Hercule Poirot's first book, as well as The Secret Adversary, her second book, they were in the same copyright situation. It's a very unusual situation through the quirks of the copyright law. They were the same thing. They were in the public domain in the United States and everywhere else except England and the European Union. And because my wife was an absolute fan of Agatha Christie, okay.
You got her support.
I got her support, but also it gave me a good reason to get into it as well. And I always respected Agatha Christie, but I came to love her once I got into the books because I could see how well she wrote, how tight her writing was from the get-go.
The writing craft is keen.
Yeah, there's not that many 27-year-old women who can create Hercule Poirot, who is still read and published and bought today. There are very few writers who could do that. You have to respect a woman who can do that.
Or a man.
Or a man, yes, but in particular Agatha Christie too, because she was a very special woman, and I got to look into her background, and I got to look into her history. I got to read about her 11-day disappearance. And try to find out what happened with that.
Well, that could be a story you could write as fiction.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'll be reading a bit from that as well. I actually did write that 11-day disappearance as kind of a story to kind of explain exactly what happened. It gave me a chance to write, with Hercule Poirot and actually, in a very safe space.
Well, I know you have a lot of other titles, but here you have two more from another famous author.
Yeah, Arthur Conan Doyle and Sherlock Holmes. These are a collection of parodies, and I got interested in these, I guess I've always been interested in Sherlock. And I guess because of that, I considered actually annotating the stories. But
so
there are several
parodies, they're twisting tales we already know?
These were written during Conan Doyle's lifetime. And some of them, Conan Doyle actually wrote a couple himself, and they're included in the collections. So it gave me a chance, again, to kind of investigate Conan Doyle's history, the history behind the various parodies. There were famous people who wrote them, like A.A. Milne and P.G. Wodehouse, and totally anonymous people. There were high school students at Groton boarding school in Connecticut.
So does A.A. Milne give Sherlock a Winnie the Pooh twist?
Not at the time, no. They were actually friends, Conan Doyle and Milne, and there's an interesting story behind that in the first collection here, Victorian Parodies and Pastiches. But it's just, again, it's a way of getting involved in the era and explaining to people why these are such interesting people, why the stories last. And also with Sherlock Holmes, I actually wrote a Mark Twain pastiche with Sherlock Holmes, and I put them one in each volume. So I'm sticking my oar in as well. This is the fun part about self-publishing. You can run things past the publisher and go, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I think that's a great idea, Bill. Let's run with that. Well, thank you so much. Where can our viewers find your books?
Okay, they are in some of the bookstores. Mechanicsburg Mystery Bookshop, a wonderful, wonderful store.
Great shout out to Debbie.
Yes, hi Debbie. The Midtown Scholar
Wonderful.
has the entire line of books in their local authors section, and Cupboard Maker Books has some of the books as well.
Great. And are they available online as well?
They are available, as you can see, in trade paperback in any place where trade paperbacks are sold: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, and ebooks are available at all the locations as well.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Demi. It's a pleasure.